Mrs. Dow, Mrs. Zahn, Mrs. Iacono, Mr. Terry, Mr. Badby, Mrs. Alvin. Absent this evening are Mr. Liu, Mr. Matola, and Mrs. Brand. First item is a recommended motion, the Pledge of Allegiance, sorry.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The motion is that the Board of Education approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 28, 2010, and the special meeting of February 11, 2010. And we need a motion to separate the room. Second. All in favor? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting for January 28, 2010? Moved by Mrs. Zahn, seconded by Mrs. Dow. All in favor? May I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes for the special meeting of February 2010? Moved by Mrs. Zahn, seconded by Mrs. Dow. All in favor? Mrs. Dow, Mrs. Zahn, Mr. Patty, Mr. Carey. Abstentions, 1. New business, a presentation of the middle school family and consumer science curriculum.
Thank you very much. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Rosado, who's going to introduce not only the presenters, but some teachers who are here tonight. And I apologize to members of the executive who's going to have to move you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. This evening we are really pleased to bring you the middle school family consumer science curriculum, which I know you've received already. One thing that is terrific about this is that with the presentation and hopefully the adoption of this curriculum, it will actually complete a sequence of courses from middle school all the way through high school of the family consumer science curriculum. Michelle Flashman is a teacher at Roger Little Middle School, and she's also our liaison for the family consumer sciences at the middle school level. And I know there are some teachers here. I don't know, Michelle, if you'd like to introduce them, but we have some teachers here who are in support. And as you know, when we develop curriculum, all of our teachers have an opportunity to be involved in the development and, of course, the evaluation when the time comes for that. So we're very proud of this curriculum, and I'm going to turn it over to Michelle now.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Nancy Malefice, Department Head for Family and Consumer Sciences. Please rise. Thanks. And at the high school level, and Vicki Hastings at Ludlow High School, Mary Kate Sitaris, our newest member at Roger Ludlow Middle School, and John Bells at Ward High School and Tomlinson Middle School. Thank you for coming. I'd also like to thank my middle school department members for their dedication. Our teaching staff actively participated in the writing of the middle school curriculums, as Dr. Rosado said, and we're bringing to the board tonight for approval. And I'd like to thank you for your support during this time in our FCS program. I'd also like to thank LMC specialist Mindy Callahan for creating the movie that you're about to see, which is based on a poem by Dr. Bob Moorhead. The facts that follow at the end are from the Centers for Disease Control website. Sciences program at the middle school emphasizes an activity-oriented approach to learning through laboratory experiences. The program is designed to provide students with life skills to lead safe, happy, and productive lives and aid them in taking on increased responsibilities within their homes. Our program provides students with skills and decision-making abilities that will help them now and throughout their adult lives. An overview of the program will show that the units of study include home and life safety, with an emphasis on, include foods and nutrition with an emphasis on whole foods, textiles with an emphasis on technology, and child development with an emphasis on home safety. This is a flow chart of our scope and sequence for foods and nutrition from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade over the course of 3 years. The curriculum is designed to facilitate specific skills such as eye-to-hand coordination, logic, reading, comprehension, spatial reasoning, fine motor skills, mathematical reasoning, and resource management. As you can see, the students build on the skills that they learned in past years. And in fabric arts, the same is illustrated, that there is a program on the skills that they've learned in previous years. An overview of the 6th grade program, there is a home and life safety unit where the students learn skills to promote safe living habits and safety awareness. Foods and nutrition focuses on basic food safety and preparation skills with an emphasis on healthy snack foods, and fabric art introduces students to basic hand and machine sewing skills. An overview of the 7th grade program includes home and safety through child care and builds on the basic knowledge and skills from the 6th grade program. In this child care unit, students determine the necessary information to care for themselves and younger children at home. The foods and nutrition unit emphasizes sanitation skills and breakfast food preparation using a whole foods approach to meal planning. And in fabric arts, students learn advanced machine sewing skills, which include the use of an overlock serger and computerized sewing machine. Embroidery software is used to create and apply design on the student sewing project. And finally, in 8th grade, which is an elective program, the students may elect to take foods, fabric art, or both for 1 or more quarters of the school year. The 8th grade foods course emphasizes adjusting recipes to increase their nutritional value. The students learn to execute nutritionally balanced meals. They develop an appreciation of the cultural origins of our foods through research and food preparation. An example of a recipe adaptation is for your pleasure on the back table, and it is an adjusted carrot cake muffin recipe with our FCS logo on it, and it's made without using, at least not the battering way, fats or sugar. It's also whole grain and delicious. 8th grade fabric art emphasizes the use of technology for quilt design and construction. 8th grade fabric art is divided into 2 major units. The first is quilt design and the second is quilt construction. Students have the opportunity to design quilts and embroideries for their quilts using electric quilt and 4D embroidery software programs. Using these computer-generated designs, students construct a quilt from start to finish, including fabric selection, construction of the quilt top, and finally quilt assembly. These units combined demonstrate to students how machine intelligence and robotics can be applied to create works of fabric art. The document that I'm presenting to you tonight is the 7th grade family meal project.
This project for me was a very educational learning experience. For instance, the most valuable lesson I learned was that the amount of time, energy, and patience needed for a meal, which will give me more respect for my mom and cooking. So I learned how important breakfast is. It helps you jumpstart your day, and a good breakfast can help you concentrate in school.
While making a meal, it's very important to have a nutritionally balanced meal. For example, to have at least 1 dairy, a fruit, carbohydrate, grain, and veggie. When I went to shop for my family meal project, I had to make sure that I was picking the most healthy and nutritious foods. For example, I had to pick whole grain bread over white flour, skim milk over whole milk, and fresh fruits and veggies. When I was selecting my food, I had to make sure there's no bruises or dents in it. And when I was reading the food labels, I had to make sure it's a nutritious food to eat.
The most difficult part was probably actually cooking the meal because a lot of work and time goes into it, and I have a lot more respect for my mom's cooking now because I know how long it takes and how much work.
In my presentation for my meal, I learned that eating a variety of colors means eating a good balance of nutrition. I really enjoyed cooking for my family and seeing them eat something I made them. It made me feel happy inside because they really enjoyed it. I tried to set the table as nice as I could. I made sure it looked nice and it was festive for fall. My parents really enjoyed eating at a nice table. I learned many things about how important it is to eat healthy every day and to eat breakfast each day while doing this project. One of the most important things I learned while doing this project is that you can cook fruits and vegetables into foods and get the nutrition while not tasting them. This is important because when people try to get me to eat fruits and vegetables, I usually think I won't like them, so I don't try them. So being able to eat the foods and not taste them is good for me because that way I know that I'll get the nutrition from breakfast that I normally wouldn't. I learned many things while doing this project.
I learned a lot from doing this project. It gave me a real understanding that healthy foods can taste great too. Learning that whole foods are unprocessed or in their original state. That is why I use whole wheat tortilla. It tastes great and is better for you. As I was preparing my meal, I need to learn about the 6 essential nutrients. I went online and discovered that each nutrient is vital to my body's well-being. And by eating the right foods, they're easy to get. In my project, I made sure to add lots of fruits and vegetables because most people are lacking in vitamins and minerals. I learned a lot by doing this.
Finally, as you enjoy this collage of our students, I'd like to quote James Rhodes: if students don't learn what you teach in family and consumer sciences, there really isn't much point in them learning the other stuff.
If you get a chance, there are some nice displays also along the back wall, as well as Michelle said, some nice treats to sample from the program.
I saw that, thank you. I was going to mention to everybody and sure how wonderful the display looks, so thank you for that. Any questions or comments from the board?
Thank you. I want to thank Ms. Blackman for coming to our policy curriculum special program committee and giving us an overview of this program and getting materials to board members in advance of this meeting, so we do appreciate that. Thank you. And also, for those of you who've been through this program and for those of you who haven't been through this program yet, you will remember each child's family meal and their boxer shorts, their book bags, and their sweatpants. So thank you again.
Anyone else?
I would just say ditto to that. I remember nearly my 23-year-old. I remember the night he cooked the meal, and he was juggling it all in the kitchen and getting the table. We have pictures of everything. I mean, this goes in your family log for life, and we we have it for both children. I have those boxer shorts still kicking around, Mrs. So yes, you will never forget it if you haven't done it yet.
Mr. Perry?
A couple of questions. The presentation made gave me the impression that in the 8th grade this is an elective, so it could be chosen to do it or not do it.
Yes, that's correct.
Roughly how many students do we have that go through the fabric art, the quilt, for example? How many like to do it?
On a yearly basis in each school, probably 40 students at Roger Level Middle School a quarter, which then would be multiplied by the 4 quarters in our school. And I believe that there's one 8th grade class offered at Tomlinson and at Fairfield Woods Middle School as their enrollment isn't as high as Roger Level Middle School.
And so we have the grade 7 outline. Is there others for this curriculum that will be approving, 6, 8?
I believe in your packet, you should have the entire curriculum.
You see those via email, attachments.
I'll go back and check. Thank you.
And then
We can send them to you tomorrow.
I don't need to kill the point. I know we're very green. It's good. Electronically would be great. Thank you.
I think there may be copies of it on the cable with the presentation.
My other question is, it looks like we're doing a good job of teaching healthy eating habits to our students. How, and this might not be for our teachers, but your administrators, how's that translating in our cafeteria? In other words, do they have healthy eating choices there? Is that a challenge? How are we balancing that?
Actually, that was quite a topic of discussion at our parent focus group that we had a month and a half or 2 months ago, and there were quite a few members of the district's wellness committee at the focus group, as well as some teachers. And what I can say is, yes, there's been terrific effort on the part of the food services to provide more healthy choices, et cetera. And there was discussion around having school gardens, et cetera, and perhaps having some of those foods available. So those are all works in progress, and certainly the food services department has worked really hard to provide healthy choices. And as I said, there were wellness committee members there that were very excited about this curriculum and working together on that. Thank you.
I believe that Michelle McCabe is here this evening. And Michelle, I forget what your position is. Stand up.
Hi, I'm the chair of Feel for Learning Partnership, which is a PTA Council Standing Committee. And so we're involved with the Wellness Committee and Coalition to work on improving sort of that communication that you're expressing between this absolutely outstanding curriculum and what's going on in the cafeteria and outside the cafeteria. I think that there's a learning curve that we all need to unfortunately face, and I know that there's been a lot of things done in the cafeteria, some farm to school produce and fresh vegetables. They were putting labels online, which I think is really important and ties in well with the curriculum. But again, there's a lot more that needs to be done, and hopefully, we'll be moving in that direction. I mean, it's still processed foods, and again, it extends beyond the cafeteria. It goes to healthier celebrations in schools. It goes to the concession foods. I mean, I think it's a journey that we all need to be on. So.
Anyone else? Mr. Bowman?
Yeah, I certainly know firsthand the quality of it. And 3 daughters that went through it. I think one was very instrumental in her future. She took a swimming school now, studying fashion design.
Oh, wonderful.
So I've seen it, I've worked, and I think it's a good curriculum. I thought it was in the past. So my question arises as to, having known what the curriculum was in the past, a number of years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, when my children go through it, what is changing in this curriculum from what it was 3 or 4 years ago? Could you summarize very quickly as to what some of the highlights are of this sort of new curriculum?
That's a very good question. And the major changes would be represented in the foods curriculum, in that we have switched to an entirely whole foods curriculum, meaning that we're no longer using any processed foods. And we're teaching the students to make food that not only tastes good, but is good for them. And then
curriculum, the major change has been incorporating computer-assisted technology into their fabric art through the 4D computerized software and the electric quilt software. So the students are learning, hopefully, machine intelligence, and this is something that they can bring, for instance, into the high school CAD design programs or other programs like that.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. Very, very informative. Moving on to our next item, we have public comments and petitions. During this period, the board will hear comments and receive petitions from any citizen present at the meeting. Any single presentation must be limited to 2 minutes, and audiovisual equipment cannot be used without the advanced authorization of the chairman. The board will not hear comment on individual personnel matters or comments addressed to a specific board member. Decorum will be enforced. Citizens are asked to comment on any voting item at the time the item is under consideration from the board. Does anyone wish to speak at this time? We'll move on. Reports and recommendations. Dr. Shaw.
Thank you. Dr. Rosado will be doing a presentation exactly 1 month from now, March 23rd, on the strategic plan in terms of where we are with each of the components of the plan. In terms of NEAS, we should be able to send to you, hopefully within 10 days or so, a draft of the NEAS report toward high school. So we're hoping to be able to do that. And the teachers and administration at Ludlow are working on responding to the recommendations that they had, and their 2-year report is due in October. And they've got committees working on that, and when they've got something in a more final version, we'll get back to you too. And I'd like Mrs. Kutai-Leonard to do the update on the plan to improve racial imbalance. Thank you.
The day after the last Board of Ed meeting, we were busy in our office getting some letters and applications and forms out to families, and we were very successful to reach the local area preschools in town. All the preschools have information about open house that will occur tomorrow night at McKinley, as well as incoming kindergarten families. They received a letter from our offices notifying them of their option to opt into McKinley, along with an invitation to the open house as well. We have a Fair TV advertisement, if you watched any of that, a 60-second screenshot in between programs, notifying parents of their option, as well as the open house for tomorrow night. We also did a press release and working on some letters to the editor from families that have opted into McKinley and have had great experiences there as well. We attended our first PTA meeting. Dr. Bernardoni and I attended the Borough PTA meeting today to answer any questions parents may have about opting into McKinley, and we have ourselves scheduled out to speak at future PTA meetings over the next 3 weeks at the other 10 elementary schools. So far, I've received actually quite a few inquiries via phone and email asking for more information. And I will be happy to provide the board with an update in mid-March about what that's looking like. The close of the application process is March 31st, so we'll have a better understanding of what opting into McKinley as far as numbers is concerned, probably toward the end of March, beginning of April.
Thank you. Any questions? Next item is to move to executive session. Motion that this meeting move to executive session to discuss the secretary, paraprofessional, and custodial and maintenance negotiations. Moved by Mrs. Zahn, seconded by Mr. Carey. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Thank you all for coming. What's on the agenda? Yeah, the one that was at the, yeah. You know what? I remember. Did they enjoy it? After the lesson? He did. He did the lesson the first and second time. We never had good for you. I'm ending it. You're beginning. Susan Famous does more now than there was no discussion about it.
It was moment of silence. It was removing whatever it was table for the discussion. I can't remember exactly what it was. I can't believe that many words were even said. I mean, it was literally.
We have to leave because of executive session. Do you know that?
Oh, so we're
It's closed.
that's
We're-
oh, the whole thing's done?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Thanks a
Wow.
lot.
Thank you.
Good night, Lisa. Thanks for coming. Bye, Lisa.
I'm sorry. No, don't be sorry. No, I just, I'm so scared of these days. You'll be good for something about, you said mentioned, I saw you over Holland Hill, there might be, a school program for